What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Nandito naman tayo sa isang napakagandang setting. Alam mo guys, nare-relax ako kapag dito tayo nag-uusap sa ganitong setting. Outdoor, you know, we have mountains, we've got the water, tsaka yung air, yung breeze, napakaganda. Especially na pag-uusapan natin tong episode na to. I feel that I'm gonna be sharing a lot straight from my heart kasi this is something that I struggled with. Simula na pagdating ko dito and even as I build my journey now. So naiintindihan ko guys that as humans, we have this primal instinct. Kaya nga tayo may fight or flight na mechanism, right? Because it makes us survive, it makes us feel safe. And syempre, mahalaga yon, especially during our ancestor time na that's the only way you could survive is you have to have this primal instinct kasi nga talagang survival mode ka nun. And how does that translate to our time now? Kasi guys, meron tayong innate nature na we have to always feel belong, we always have to be understood. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng maraming insecurities, dilemmas, kasi nga we always want to be valued by someone. So nakikita nyo, external forces, right? So that's what this video is going to talk about. Kasi sasabihin ko sa inyo guys that you don't need to be understood to become valuable. Now, the problem with that mentality guys is if we always look for external forces to validate our value, nakikita nyo, it puts almost anybody else, anything else around you accountable for your fulfillment except you. Right? So doon naman nakakita na parang kaya ka nagkakaroon ng ganitong feelings because instead of improving yourself internally, you're always constantly looking for validation from other people. And that is one of the root causes for why you may want to be understood. Kaya this episode guys, makinig ka kasi magkakaroon tayo ng real talk on do you really need to be understood? Okay? But before that, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is Sarah, isang registered nurse turned agency owner here in Canada. And alam niyo na ang gagawin nyo. If you haven't done so, please hit the like and subscribe button para lagi kayong natututo sa channel na to. So guys, sinabi ko rin sa inyo nung simula pa sa simula, right? This is something I've always struggled with. Feeling ko talaga ako yung tao na I've always been misunderstood. Okay? Na I've never really felt like I belong. People misunderstood me for the things that I've done, for the things that I didn't do, for the things that I've said, for the things that I didn't say. Kasi guys, the reality is people will misunderstand you whether you do the right thing or the wrong thing or whether you turn right or left. People will misunderstand you. You cannot please everybody. And you shouldn't. Kaya makinig ka dito sa video na to kasi talagang i-open niya yung mind mo to inner peace that you're gonna have once you break the barrier of not wanting to be understood by people. So mabalik tayo. So even during my high school year, when I went to college, I was even more insecure. I really felt the need to be belonged, right? Yung lagi ako may kausap, dapat lagi ako nasa clique. Guys, it burned me right out. Na-burnout talaga ako. Wala talaga akong kaibigan and you can fact check that with my family, with my sister. Hindi ko na talaga inopen yung sarili ko to other people when it comes to relationship. Nagkaroon ako ng mga past experiences ko like the friends who I trusted in the past. They didn't really hold value dun sa friendship na binigay ko. When I invest in a relationship, let's say friendship, right? I really give it all, right? I become the person who really always want to help and really help. Talagang binibigay ko. So, when people don't show me the same treatment, talagang nagsha-shutdown ako. And then, it kept happening over and over again. And I got to the point where, you know what? Instead of investing in relationship without the guarantee of people seeing the value of what I'm giving them, how about I just invest in myself? The relationship I have with myself, now with my family, right? Sa asawa ko, sa anak ko, like close relationship, the ones that matter the most para sa akin. Let me tell you this, guys. Nung pinasok ko yung pagnenegosyo, this was 5 years ago, itong nakikita nyo ngayon sa sarili ko, the way I talk, the way I present myself, this is a completely different person from who I was 5 to 10 years ago. Completely different. Kahit nga ako, I could barely recognize myself. And I am so happy about it. I've worked hard every single day to become the person I am today. Kasi nung nasa dark days ako, alam mo naman lahat tayo may dark days and it's called identity crisis, right? And nasabi ko rin to sa ibang video ko that there was a period of time that I was alone. And I was the happiest. Diba sabi ko I was the happiest because I got to learn who I truly am. I knew what my weaknesses are, my strengths are, and when I reflected on those, I got the opportunity to focus on my weaknesses and turn them into strengths, and that in turns is the reflection of who you're seeing right now. I focus on developing my mental capacity, my abilities, my skills, and ito na nga yung result. Tapos guys, doon ko na-realize na I really didn't need anybody to fill the void. Kasi nung nasa times ako na ang dami kong iniisip, wala talaga akong malapitan. Obviously, there are certain things that you don't disclose to your family na talagang sa sarili mo lang. You know, I had my faith. That was one thing that really pushed me through. Pero dun ko talaga nakita na, you know, no one was coming to save me. So I became my own hero, right? I had to develop who I am today because no one's gonna do that for me. Kaya sasabihin ko sa inyo guys, when you keep on getting the feeling to be understood by people, ang talagang ginagawa nyo is you're trying to create a safe place for you to be accepted. Pero ako na nagsasabi sa inyo, if that's what you're thinking, you gotta change that mentality because all you're doing is nothing but a fake safe space. And what do I mean by that? How would you feel being accepted into a persona that you adjusted yourself to? You have created this persona in your head na parang, oh, this is who's likable, this is who people are jealous of. And then you somewhat tweak yourself to become this persona in order to be accepted so then you can feel safe. So when I realized that, okay, so I have to keep up being someone I'm not in order to always feel belong. Right? So nakakapagod siya. Bakit nga ba natin ginagawa yun? Now that I put it that way, it might seem convoluted, pero yun yung ginagawa natin. Why do you think so? Kasi it's always the easiest path. Diba? Mas madali nga naman na gayahin na lang yung taong yun o gayahin na lang yung taong yan. Kesa, imbis na tumitingin ka sa iba, you have to point the finger to yourself and say, paano ba ako mag-i-improve internally? So, you know, whether people like me or don't like me for who I truly am, I can stay true for who I am. Because the reality, guys, is it hurts to become different, right? There's the pain treading the water the opposite way. Mahirap kasi you would be alone, right? You would be misunderstood a lot. And we don't want that kasi there's pain there, right? It hurts to become different. That's the reality. And that is the reason why kaya mas pinipili natin yung madali. Now, let's flip the script. I'll give you an example para mas maintindihan nyo. Let's say meron kang ka-work or meron kang kakilala na you get to see this person maybe once or twice, maybe sa work mo. Let's just use that example, okay? Tapos, nakikita mo itong taong to maybe reserved or quiet or I don't know, like talagang parang may sarili siyang mundo, okay? So ikaw, let's say you and your friends or maybe with the same circle, nag-uusap kayo and you conclude na, oh my gosh, this person, like he's weird, no? He's weird. So this person might make you feel uncomfortable, right? Or sometimes you might be curious, ang weird naman ito, bakit tahimik? Nagkakasayahan tayo dito, right? Have you heard of this before? And then not only that, so kapag nakakausap kayo ng mga friends or like maybe people who you vibe with, you guys conclude that this person is, let's say, out of touch. And in worst case scenario, you put them a label, right? Kasi naman ginagawa natin lagi is we label everybody. Pero ito ang tanong ko sa inyo when something like that happens, okay, is ano ba ang alam nyo sa buhay ng taong to? Okay, do you know this person's life? And I'm talking about in details. Kasi kung hindi nyo alam ang buhay ng taong to, like in detail, the struggles that this person needs to face every single day, the failures that this person had to overcome, right? The thoughts, the fears, right? Kung hindi nyo alam yon, here's an analogy for you. Paano nyo masasagot yung mathematical equation kung hindi nyo alam yung formula? Paano nyo mailuluto ang isang putahe kung hindi nyo alam ang ingredients? Paano kayo makakarating sa destination nyo kung hindi nyo alam ang direction? So now, let me ask you this. How would you expect yourself to understand this person if you barely know any details in their life? Hindi nyo nga alam kung anong ginagawa niya sa buhay niya, hindi nyo alam yung problema niya, hindi nyo alam yung failures or struggles na kinakailangan niyang i-face every single day. So, how can you expect yourself to understand them? And on the same note, how can you expect other people to understand you if they don't know anything about your life? So nakita niyo yun, guys, this whole notion of being understood when really we don't have any data to understand people because we don't really have anything to base our assumption on. Kaya nga siya assumption kasi you're just assuming. Kaya nakita niyo to mentality na to, guys, it just steers you to become insecure without no reason, really. Kasi nga you're trying to understand something that you will never be able to understand. And really, you shouldn't try to understand people. You just have to respect them, right? Kasi tayo naman, kailangan nating mag-coexist. We respect each other belief. We respect each other's life, right? As long as you're not hurting, you're not disrespecting anybody, that should be the standard of communicating with one another. Kaya nga ako, hindi na ako mahilig sa mga small talk. And kasi nahihirapan ako mag-hold ng conversation. Because I'm generally not interested in, yung mga, alam mo, yung mga chit-chat na talk. Now, if I'm interested to know what you're doing or what you're up to or how your life is going, you're gonna feel it in me. Hindi ko talaga kaya mag-pretend. And maybe some people might think I'm socially awkward, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. It's just something na I don't want to change, right? Alangan namang kailangan ko pa mag-adjust para lang magustuhan mo pa ako, or kailangan ko mag-adjust para lang kausapin mo ako. You see, I'm not that kind of person. Kaya nga ako yung tao na if you don't think we vibe, then I guess we don't vibe, right? There's no problem with that. So here's my takeaway, guys, in this episode. The only person who can truly understand you is you. Nakaka-straightforward, no? Minsan nga asawa mo na to ha, and your husband or wife, they know what you're going through, right? They know what's happening in your life. Pero minsan, may mga misunderstanding pa. Kita mo yun, alam na nila yung buhay mo, pero hindi ka pa rin nila maintindihan minsan. Then again, using that same idea, how can you expect people that are not part of your day-to-day life to understand you? Ang nakakatawa pa dito, huwag ka nang lumayo. Minsan nga sarili mo hindi mo maintindihan, right? Kaya ako, sinasabi ko sa inyo, minsan if you feel this way, you gotta step back, you gotta zoom it out a little bit, and you have to assess what's important in your life. Kasi dun mo malalaman kung ano ba talagang gusto mo. That's how you can understand yourself. So gentle reminder lang tayo, guys. Before you become an expert on someone else's life, become an expert on yours first. Kasi ito lang masasabi ko, if you truly get to the point where you understand yourself, and there are times naman na hindi mo pa rin maiintindihan, right? Kasi ayan ang human nature. We got these battles. Kaya nga sabi ko, we're constantly evolving. We're constantly changing. You shouldn't stagnate. The moment you stop growing is the moment you stop living. So good news, guys. Once you get to the point that you truly understand yourself, okay? Listen to me. This is the only time na makaka-attract ka ng mga tao na naiintindihan ka and they accept you for who you truly are. You no longer need to adjust to this persona na likable, na, gusto lahat ng tao, because you don't need to. Your fuel runs on your own internal motivation, not other people's validation. And when you find these people, guys, yung i-accept kayo for who you truly are, keep them, right? These are your people. You see sa negosyo ko, guys, I've met some of the most wonderful people, the most hardworking ones na I don't really treat them as my friends. I treat them as allies. We have this shared vision, right, that we're working towards on, and we elevate each other's up. We learn from each other's mistakes. And for me, there's so much value in that. And those are the relationships that I want to keep. I'm so thankful that I learned this lesson early on, that I didn't need to be understood to become successful, to become happy. Guys, I'm very grateful where I am in my life right now. I have my faith that I hold on to dearly, my family, my husband, and my daughter, the rest of my family. Ito yung mga relationship na gusto ko lang talagang i-protect. So for each and every one of you watching, this is your reminder that you don't need to be validated. You are just as perfect as who you are, okay? Keep improving yourself from within, okay? And I hope this video helps, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.